Catch the Pulse with Rodney. I'm your host, Rodney Campbell. And please go to our YouTube page, Catch the Pulse with Rodney, and subscribe and hit like. It means a lot to us. We're trying to go further with this, and it would really help us out a lot. So today we are very lucky to have a good friend of mine from so many years ago. His name is Jeff Rye. He was the rhythm guitar and backup vocalist for the 80s and 90s rock band Scarlet. Welcome, Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me on, Rodney. You're looking good there, buddy. You look marvelous.
Thank you. And once again, oh, hello there.
Oh, hello there.
If you guys don't know what we're laughing about, that's a little private joke between him and I back in the day, and it's just something that we both like Woody Woodpecker cartoons, and we're still cartoon fanatics. And so again, welcome, Jeff. It's really a pleasure to have you, my friend.
Thank you again.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty, man. Let's talk about the Scarlet days, man. And how did you become a member of the rock band Scarlet, and where did you guys originate?
Well, you probably don't have enough time in this podcast, but anyway,
Okay.
so I grew up in Wyandotte, moved to Arizona for 3 years, and then back to Michigan in Brownstown, and I went to high school at Carlson High School. And that's where I met Jeff and Dean. They were in a band called Joker with Jeff's brothers, Mike on keyboards. Kirk was singing, Tony was on drums, Jeff on guitar. And so they had a band, and I had a band as well called Crossfire. And we were kind of contemporaries and rivals at the same time. When I first met Jeff, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's got skills. And so we just hooked up, and we started sitting down and playing guitar together. And immediately, Jeff's brother Steve, who was our manager at the time, Steve brought me into the band. And so I've known Jeff since 1977, right around in that era. And we were pretty much inseparable the whole time, not only in the band, but subsequently after I moved on from Scarlet and played in a couple of different bands before I moved out here to California, to the Bay Area. So yeah, that's how I met Jeff and Dean, and then we brought Sonny into the band and started writing some original tunes, changed the name from Gin Willie
I remember the
to
name.
Scarlet at the suggestion from Ronnie Bachman, who was managing us. And Ronnie had pinged Steven Tyler, who he was good friends with, and he said, "Hey, Steven, if you were going to start a band today, what would you call it?" And, he said something like a household name, something that's just it's memorable. You're not going to forget it. Something like a disease, like scarlet fever.
Oh, right.
Ronnie brought that back to us. We're like, scarlet fever. Let's not go with the fever part, but we'll take the Scarlet part. And so that's kind of Steven's, contribution to the band through Ronnie and stuff. But that's when it all started happening, Rodney. Ronnie really took the bulls by the horns and got us out there. And we were doing a lot of shows all over Michigan and down in Ohio and stuff. But once we started the writing process, and it just took off from there. And then the Ritz broadcast, WLZ, the whole Motor City Rocks 3 thing. So that was kind of the aperture of it all, the high point, and then the low point was you're driving down the road in your car, and you're listening to the WLZ, and you hear "Bat Out of Hell." Then you watch the Beat program, and you see the video for "Bat Out of Hell."
Right.
So we're up on this roller coaster high, and then when things went, Doc McGee and David Geffen were looking at us. We were in negotiations. Next thing you know, everything going like this, and so I know what caused the trajectory, but it's all water under the bridge. The highs and lows go along with the industry, and it's part of it. So we moved on, but I've always kept in touch with Jeff and Dean. In fact, I saw Dean in the hospital when I was back home in March too. So keep in touch with Mark Thomas, Stein, Mark and Matt are down in Burbank, Hollywood area. So but that's kind of the Scarlet story there. But like I said, I've known Jeff since '77, and lost a good friend.
Yeah, I was just going to chime in on that one. That's such a tragic loss, and it happened so suddenly, man. Him and a couple other local rockers from previous bands got together and put a band together.
Yeah, like Tommy.
Yeah, Dead Ringer.
We've lost some buddies, haven't we?
Yeah, man, and they played at my party in the park, and He looked as healthy as a horse, and we talked, and he got up and played like he always does. So just an incredible guitarist and musician. And sadly, like 2 months after that, he was in the hospital fighting for his life. It just happened so fast, and I feel pretty honored that his last show was at one of my Garden City in the Park parties. It tugs on my heartstrings because he was a good guy. And of course, Dean, he kind of went down the wrong path for a while, and he's paying the piper now. And I feel terrible for him. And God willing, he'll get up out of that bed and start regaining his movement and what have you. It's such a tragedy.
Yeah.
But life is what it is, my friend. And I know you spoke at Jeff's memorial. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Gene had asked me to say a few words, and I don't know if I'll share a little bit of my background. Since I moved to California, I kind of started a new life. So I have a pastoral background. I went to Bible college and seminary and
I
pastored churches
know.
for about 20 years out. And so when she asked me to speak, first of all, it was an honor and a privilege because he was my best man. Or my best friend. I was his wingman for years.
Right.
And so I said, yes, I'd love to do that. So I was
Sure.
able to do that and honor his memory as well as, his family was there, his mom. I mean, I've known them all for so many years, and it was just
Yeah.
touching. And I saw a lot of good old friends there too.
Uh-huh.
Jim Jernigan was a good friend of ours in Alias Axis, and he had asked me to do a memorial, a song in dedication to Jeff. They were playing at the Lincoln Park Band Shell that weekend. So this was July 1st or 2nd, like 6 years ago, or 5 years
Okay.
ago. And
Uh-huh.
so we did the song Voyager in honor of Jeff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. That was very cool. Yeah, like I said, it's a tragedy, and I have no words. It just happened so fast. But getting on to better topics, man. How did you meet your wife? And
Mhm.
I know you had a past like I did, and thank God that you were like I was, strong enough to get out of
Yeah.
the bar nights and everything after the bar and so on and so forth. And you moved to California, and you went to Bible school. Is that what you went to?
Yep.
And you
Yeah.
became
Bible college, and
you became a preacher, right?
I became a pastor. I started out just doing the music side of things, and then discovered that I had the gift of being able to teach, and so I
Uh,
pressed into that. So, Bible teacher now for some 25 years. I had a background of church, growing up in Michigan.
okay.
Kind of was the prodigal though, so I got away from it. But then I had a grandmother that was praying for me. If you got a grandmother praying for you, it's over, bro. I mean, God totally answered that prayer, and so I was able to relocate out here, start a new life. I plugged into a church, and I met my wife here, and I
Wow.
walked into the room, and her jaw dropped and hit the floor, and it was over.
Oh my goodness. You're lying like a rug. You're lying like a rug. You probably had to woo the daylights out of her. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But it was
Well,
it was the total blessing of my life, and then who knew?
yeah.
We would have four kids as well. So we have four beautiful adult kids. My youngest just turned 21
Oh
this
my
past
goodness.
week. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
got a full quiver.
I get it. I get it. Yeah. Kind of the same story with me and Tracy, my wife. We were going back and forth on a biker page, and
Hmm.
I just seen her, and I immediately knew that. Believe it or not, I knew just by talking with her that she was going to be my wife. And I kid you not, she was at a wedding, and she came from the
Yeah.
wedding. Her sister-in-law, I believe it was. She came to the bar that I was at. I was still drinking. I wasn't doing drugs or anything, but she came to the bar in her outfit that she wore to the wedding, and she just stepped
Mhm.
out of this car and was just drop dead beautiful. And I walked right up to her and I grabbed her and I kissed her, and the rest is history, man. When you know what I'm saying?
That's a great feeling too, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that, Rodney. I
Oh,
didn't
you're
know that
very
about you and Tracy.
welcome. Yeah, she's a little Polish girl, but oh my God, she can be meaner than she can be meaner than a snake. But I love her with all my heart and soul. I truly do, man. It's just an incredible thing. So,
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your new venture in a band called Unfinished Business. How did that come about?
Yeah, so about 6 years ago, I was a worship pastor at a church, and my bass player was a guy we had a lot in common and stuff. Real
Yeah.
long blonde hair, he looked like a rocker and stuff. Kind of looks like Pete, Pete Baker.
Oh, okay.
But so anyway, so I asked him if he was interested in putting together like a classic rock band. And the drummer that I had on that worship team as well was a drummer that we had a band together about 15 years ago called Waken, and we played some Christian music festivals out here. One of the biggest
Oh,
ones, Spirit West Coast, down in Monterey at Laguna Seca. But so Pat said, "Yeah, let's do that." So I brought Pat in and Scott, and we just started going through songs that we liked and were influenced by artists, etc.
uh-huh.
So the whole concept between Someone Unfinished Business is that I hung up my rock and roll shoes for a long time. I
Okay.
was doing ministry, music,
Uh-huh.
ministry, teaching, and stuff. But I wanted to do something again. And I had been writing tunes over the last few years as well.
Okay.
So we brought all that together. We called it Jeff Rye Some Unfinished Business, and we were able to get out and play some venues around here. And my album is in process. I was hoping to get it out by the end of the year. It looks like it's going to be spring of 26 before it's done. But
Okay.
all my originals are going to be going on that, and a couple of cover tunes. We're just a
Oh,
little teaser here. We're gonna put Moon Age Daydream on there from David Bowie, as well as Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood,
oh, wow.
that Eric Burdon's famous for, but he didn't write the song. There was a
Okay.
African American guy who wrote the song. But
All
anyway,
right.
those two covers are going on there, and yeah, I hope it gets done and gets out there because it's part of my Some Unfinished Business.
I love that attitude. I just think it's great that you got back into
Yeah.
it. You were meant to be a rocker, and you somehow seem to make it all work out with the wife and kids, the ministry, and the rock and roll. Is it? There you go. Tell us a little bit about that guitar you got in your hands. I know there's a story behind it.
Well, thank you for asking. So I mentioned that in November I was back in Detroit. My family had a big family reunion and stuff down in Adrian, and so I made it a point that Angie and Tommy and Gina asked us over for dinner and stuff. So we went up to Tommy and Gina's, and we had dinner and just had a great time. Got the guitars out, and Tommy's a worship leader as well. So we were sharing
Yeah.
some songs back and forth, and towards the end of the night, Gina goes, "Hey, want to change the subject here just for a little quick?" And she goes, "Can you take a guitar home on a plane?" I said, "Well, yeah. I mean, I've flown with guitars before. I typically don't like to do that. I usually get one where I'm going and play it there. Like I borrowed this guitar from Jeff 6 years ago when
Right.
I played it. So she goes, okay, well, so she brings this case out and opens it up, and this guitar was in it. She had no idea this is the guitar I borrowed from Jeff.
Right. Right.
And so I said, I would love to have it. So
Oh
I
my.
didn't bring it home in November because of the Thanksgiving holidays and travel and stuff. I didn't want anything to happen to this guitar.
Sure.
Shipping it would have cost me $500. So I flew in March to hang out with my brother, and I went over to Tommy and Gina's and picked up the guitar and stuff. And yeah, and then I took it home, replaced all the electronics in the back,
Mm-hmm.
cleaned it up, played it, and I did my band played a show a few months back, and I ended up playing this guitar and dedicating the song to Jeff. And the song that I did was a cover from Elvin Bishop called "Fooled Around and Fell in Love."
Yeah.
And so that's one of the videos that I had sent you. So maybe we
Yeah.
can show that one with the podcast. But
Sure.
at any rate, this guitar means a lot to me, and it's like this guitar in the back. You recognize that one? That's my Les Paul
Oh my
when I was in
goodness.
Scarlet.
Right,
It's in
right.
the Bat Out of Hell video.
Oh
These are the
my,
two guitars that I will never sell.
I don't blame you. That's amazing. I actually sold a guitar, Charvel Jackson, to Jeff Williams. I won it on the
Yeah.
radio. God, it had to have been about 1984, I'm thinking, in that era. And I was
Hmm.
friends with the DJs at this radio station, and it was all legitimate. I actually won it on a raffle, and I got to meet Don Dockin, which is that, and Dee Snyder, which was incredibly cool to sit and talk with. That guy.
Wow.
Yeah, so I needed money. I was doing stupid stuff in my life, and I sold it to Jeff. And I always wondered whatever happened to the guitar, but yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
I know you guys had a lot of inner turmoil when you were in Scarlet. Sonny has got one of the most powerful voices out of Detroit, in my opinion. That guy can sing and write music like any. But Jeff and him, sometimes they butted heads a lot. What was going on with all that?
Well, I could tell you stories about being on the road. You're living together. You're in relationship like a
Yeah,
marriage, and
yeah.
there was one particular incident up at the Roundup up in Midland. We played at the Roundup in Midland, and we came off the stage after a set in the dressing room, and Sonny was changing, and he told Dean to close the door, and Dean wasn't going to close the door, and they had words. Next thing you know, they're just throwing blows, and Jeff's in there, and I
Oh
grabbed my
God.
Les Paul, the only guitar that I had. I couldn't afford to let anything happen, so I grabbed it. I'm standing there, and me and Mark Thomas are sitting there watching him go at it. So there were
Oh
times
my.
when things got a little bit heated, Rodney, but overall, at the end of the
Sure.
day, we were all still best friends and stuff. And
Yeah.
even though we parted ways, Mark Thomas and I left the band and went on
Yeah.
to start our own little thing. And then he ended up out in Hollywood with Steel Soldier. Mark and I are best friends to this day. We're born the same exact day in the same exact hospital and didn't know it.
Oh,
And
that's
our moms were
crazy.
born on the same exact day. Our moms had the same exact birth. So Mark and I have this connection that's,
Oh my
uh,
word, that's
I love that
incredibly
guy.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I've been talking with Sonny quite a bit lately on social media via Messenger, and he said it would be okay to talk a little bit about him, and he's the one that sent me some music to add to this podcast. So, me and Sonny have a lot of stories to tell as well. He's a great guy. Kind of hard to live with, though.
Hmm.
He lived at my house for a while, and but me and Sonny got a bond that'll never be broken. And he's just like I said, he's an incredible
Yeah.
vocalist and a songwriter. And I know Jeff and him, man. Jeff wouldn't back down from anybody. Sonny was pretty intimidating. I'll say that. He was big and husky and built like a shit brick
Yeah.
house. But Jeff Williams wasn't no
Yeah.
little sissy either. He wouldn't back down from anybody. And it's very
No,
sad
no.
that
No,
it's
Jeff
very
clocked me
sad.
once. I remember him driving down the road. I couldn't drive my car, so I had him driving it. And I was in the
Oh
passenger
my
seat. And I was trying to make him pull over so I could drive, and he went, bam!
Oh
Right
my
turn,
goodness.
Clyde.
Oh
Like,
my.
okay.
We're going to take a break and listen to Red Alert by Scarlet, and we'll be right back.
And
All right, we're back with Jeff Rye from the band Scarlet and Unfinished Business, among other bands that he's played in over the years. So tell me, Jeff,
Mhm.
how did you guys come up with that song, Red Alert? Where did it come from?
Red Alert was one of Sonny's songs. Sonny came up with a lot of songs on his acoustic, which was hard for us because he played left-handed. So we're gonna,
Oh,
wait a
wow.
minute. But we took some
Oh,
of those ideas and we fleshed out those ideas. And so, Jeff and I and Dean, and at the time it was Mark Thomas,
okay.
we all put our thumbprint on those songs.
Right
So
on.
Sonny would come with the idea and flesh it out. Mostly it was Jeff and I kind of fleshing out guitar parts and the arrangement. Um, yeah, so that's kind of most of the songs came like Jeff and I had a lot of stuff that we wrote. It was not as much in the same vein, if you will, more guitar oriented in terms of progressive things. We had an instrumental we used to do live, and I can't even remember the name of the instrumental, but it was
Oh, I
him and I wrote
know.
it. It has harmony guitar parts in it, solo stuff, and
Yeah. I just
yeah.
listened to
So
it.
that's
I
the
just
song.
listened to that. I just listened to that. Sonny sent it to
Okay.
me. It was, oh my God. Can you live if you gotta die? Oh, I don't know, man.
That's kind of the riff,
Yeah,
right?
man.
That's the
Yeah,
riff. But
yeah.
oh my gosh.
Now I know you
So
guys
that's how the
switched.
writing happened.
Okay, I know you switched drummers back. I can't even remember when, but the other Matt he was a
Yeah.
very stage predominant drummer, and Mark was more of
Yeah.
a technician. What happened? Why did you guys switch drummers?
The history was when I joined with Joker was Jeff's brother, and then we moved to from Joker to another drummer, Sean Hayes, and then my brother Gary. So my brother Gary was the drummer in the band Gin Willie for a couple of years
Oh,
with Sonny, and unfortunately, it's not an easy thing to do to release your brother from the band. So that was not fun.
oh, I
But
guess.
anyway, that's when we brought Mark in, and Sonny was in a band previously with Mark. So Mark became the new drummer for Scarlet. We changed from Gin Wine to Scarlet at that point.
Okay.
And so then after Mark and I left the band. We left Scarlet, and we were putting something together with Dave Cole on bass and
Oh,
practicing
boy.
in a little place in Ann Arbor. Yeah. So the point is that once Mark and I left, and then Mark came back into the band for a brief time, and then he left. So that's when they brought in Matt Stein. So I was in the band with Matt for a little bit. We did one video for the Ruthless song that I wrote. Ruthless.
Great
Sonny wrote the
song.
words. But I wrote Ruthless, and that was the first video that Matt was on.
Okay.
And so, and then Matt left the band after a while. And so, Matt went to PIT. He moved to Hollywood, and I'd go down there to visit him a couple times a year. Mark Thomas was down there. So I would drive from San Jose, 4-hour drive down to Hollywood and stuff. So
Oh,
Matt and I have always kept in touch. Uh,
he's got a.
Matt is he's on tour. He's a guitar tech. He works with Don Felder's band. And so whenever Don Felder's in the area, Mark will hit me up, or Matt will hit me up, and we'll hook up and
Oh,
have a
okay.
beer or something like that. But so I guess I still get to see those guys, which is cool. I haven't seen
Yeah.
Sonny since way back, and I know
Yeah.
he's in Cocoa Beach area.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got to see Dean. Dean came to Jeff's memorial. He didn't go to the service the next day, and then subsequently he had the stroke, so he's been in the hospital ever since. So I hadn't seen
Oh,
Dean in years, and I got to see him after. I saw him at the memorial for Jeff, and then I just saw him in March when I was home.
yeah. You
So
you stopped over and visited me.
I went in. It's exactly. I did.
Yeah.
I stopped on a whim. I'm like, I got his phone number. I'm going to call him. Is he
Uh,
home? Oh, hello there.
Hello there. Oh my God.
I drive over to your house and had the best time catching up with you, brother.
Oh, it was just amazing, man. It's like we picked up right where we left off, except all the stupid stuff. And
Hmm.
you've really flourished, and I'm so proud of you. And I just wish you all the best in the world. And I think you're just a fabulous guy. You got your life back, just like a lot of us didn't. And I think you are a martyr in the world of rock and roll. I think you're just an incredibly musician, a songwriter. But I want to get into you mentioned the guy's name, two of them actually.
Yeah.
David Colt and Dean Slater. Those guys, oh my God. I've watched some of your videos. I sat in the audience when you guys played at the Studio Lounge. Those
Yeah.
guys are two of the biggest
Yeah.
characters that ever walked the face of the earth, man. Dave Colt, to this day, he's just one silly SOB, but he's a great bass
Mhm.
guitarist and he plays regular guitar very, very well.
Oh yeah. 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 So I was in between Scarlet and Slater. I was playing bass in a band called Night Trick. It was a progressive uh, neoclassical metal band. My brother was on drums. So I went from that band and they invited me into Slater. So Mark Aloya, Pete Falk, Dave Colt, and Dean Slater and myself, the five of us. And man, that was, I think I had a lot more fun in that band.
I bet.
Fun is relative. The,
Yes.
the word fun is relative. But we had a lot of good times and still keep in touch. We talked about
Yeah.
doing a reunion about 5 years ago
I
with you,
remember.
and it never really
Yes.
came to fruition because of COVID and stuff. Nobody was
Yeah.
going to come out to see,
Right.
some super spreader event for some band that had been together 40 years ago.
I
So
understand.
anyway,
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Any good stories about you guys being on the road? I mean, is there any horror stories or any
Oh,
something
you
that?
want some Slater stories? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
David Colt. I could just
I
imagine.
well, I have to be vague here because
You
my
know
wife
what?
and my adult children will probably see this.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, we had some good times. We also played the Roundup up in Midland, which had a band house, and so there was a
Okay.
little lake by there. And I remember just Dave Colt. I had an Epiphone acoustic, it was just a beater, and
Hmm.
we were out at the lake just sitting there. So Dave he actually walks out in the water and he's playing that guitar when he's walking out in the water, and he's laying on the beach playing this guitar and stuff. And we just had a
Oh
good
my
time up
goodness.
there.
Yeah.
Horror stories, yeah, coming home from Midland. It's raining, and Pete Falk's motorcycle, Dean Slater was riding it. The lights on the U-Haul were going out, and Dean's just like soaked behind us. We're watching him in the mirror. He's just cruising along with. So, and in the
Ah,
U-Haul, like I say, the lights were flashing on and off. It's just like, whoa, man. We were running on a thin wick back then, man. No
I
money,
don't
just
know.
having fun, living our dreams, playing music.
You know what? I tell you what. I don't miss the days, but I miss the camaraderie and the friends and the rock and roll music going into the
Yeah.
bar. You as Scarlet and probably six or seven other bands made the 80s and 90s so much fun going to different venues and seeing you guys. Tommy Farless sweating his butt off, giving it 110%. Sonny soaking wet, singing. You
Hmm.
guys just swinging sweat and giving it all you got to impress and appease the audience, which you guys did a fabulous job of. I mean, everybody, like, you couldn't get another person in those bars in those days, man. Watching you guys play, you walk in and you hear Sonny singing "Green Eyed Lady," and it's like, holy mother of goodness, man! This is, I, in my personal opinion, Sonny had the most powerful vocals out of anybody,
Hmm.
and as a technician, Tommy Farless, he
Hmm.
just made it look so natural. And you can say who's the best and who's not. And that's all irrelevant because you guys made the Detroit rock and roll scene what it was. And what I'm trying to do is get the rock and roll scene back to somewhat of that era by doing this podcast,
Hmm.
reinventing the original bands. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the cover bands. I've done a couple interviews with these guys that
Sure. Sure.
that are just incredible, and as well as tribute bands. They're the new thing here in Detroit, and it's like I did a show with a band last week called Detroit Trouble. They're all originals. They throw a couple covers in like you guys did, and
Right.
they're really hungry. But unfortunately, a lot of bands, and I said this over numerous podcasts, are not producing original music that people are gonna specifically go out and see a band like we did. We would travel from the east side to the west side, wherever you guys were at. We were going, drinking and driving and doing drugs and shit, which we shouldn't have been doing, but we were making a whole night of it going out to see you guys. And thank you so much for giving us
and a morning.
and the morning at the Campbell House. Oh my God!
I know that.
I know if those walls could talk,
Well,
we'd all be in jail.
That whole era, Rod, was so cool because not only was it a cool time for music in Detroit, which already had a great heritage with Rob Tyner and MC5,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
Even with Cub Coda and the Points with Fred and Pete and
Yeah.
Joey and stuff. But the camaraderie was so cool because we were able to hang out with each other and go see each
Yeah.
other and support each other.
Yes, sir.
We got to do shows. We did shows with Muggsy. Remember
Yeah.
Second Chance? We played there and those kinds of things. So it was a good family, if you will. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
sir.
And that whole culture is so different now. The
is.
times and the seasons are different. So, but God bless you for what you're doing, trying to resurface this and not only are we sharing the memories and all the relationships that
Yes,
we
sir.
had in the past, but we're thinking about the future and how do we keep this art of music? How do we keep that alive in Detroit? I struggle with it out here, and you think, wow, and on the West Coast,
Yeah.
there's hardly any venues that you can play at. I was talking with Pete the other day, and I says, hey, Pete, I said, we're still making the same amount of money per night we were making 40 years ago. That's the
Nothing.
industry. Now,
Isn't that
we know
terrible?
it's about the art and trying to get out and create your own songs and get your art out there. That's where
Right.
it's at, kind of thing. But still, we just love playing, and that's the point of it. We love
Yes.
playing. It's the expression of your art. And so
Yes, sir.
I hope to do this until, I ain't breathing anymore.
Well, God bless you.
Well, I'm trying to hook something up. I would like to so I have a band currently called Deadly Sting, and it's a Scorpions
okay.
tribute.
Oh, nice.
And in fact, stay put.
Okay.
I am playing the role of Matthias,
What do you
and
got?
I just built this guitar. I built this guitar over the last 6 months.
You build
this is my
guitars?
Matthias Jobs. Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness.
This is
What
my
about
own
it?
very own.
Wow, look at
Like,
that.
see, it's got my logo on there. It says Rye Tone.
I like that.
I
That's
build
kinda-
amps too, Rodney.
I know you said
Yeah,
something
I
about
build
it.
amps too.
That's just about the same guitar that I sold to Jeff, the Charvel Jackson with the head. The head looks like a Charvel Jackson. Is that what that is?
No, this is mine. I built this, so
No, I know, but did
all
you
the headstock.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
it kind of looks
Scratch.
like. Yeah. Oh, it's scratch. Okay. Okay. So
Started
are
with
you?
wood.
Are you? I always have wood. Sorry, man. I can't.
No,
get
stop
over
it.
No, I can't. Are you? So your new project
So
with?
yeah, that tribute band is. I'm sorry, Rod. The
That's
tribute
okay.
band is Deadly Sting, and then I have another tribute called Rock the Nation. It's a Sammy Hagar tribute with Jimmy
Oh.
DeGrasso is the drummer for that, who played with Alice Cooper and Rat,
Oh.
Y&T, Megadeth. He was in those bands for many years. Really great drummer, really great dude. And
Uh-huh.
so we're trying to hook something up either at the Token and or 142 and the Machine Shop.
Okay.
So hopefully we get a short little tour, and I'll be able to come out and see you then.
Bro, if there's anything I could do to help you get in any of those venues, let me know. I would be more than honored and happy to help you with that.
That'd be great. I know you know John real well, so that'd be great.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, man.
In fact, next week we're doing a podcast with John. Yeah.
Drop the
man.
Deadly Sting, Jeff Rye, some unfinished business thing.
I definitely will,
And
Jeff.
I am sporting some of my favorite things from Detroit here. You know that, don't you?
I know that.
I'm
You're
going to a
Detroit.
Wings game tonight.
I know you and Charlie talked about it before the show. That's great. Now I know that's just ice water in there, right?
Yes, sir. I don't drink
I don't either.
this early in the day.
Oh.
Good stuff, man. Yeah. So keep your eye out for that, and then I've been doing a lot of amp building. This is a Friedman, obviously, but Dave's down in Hollywood, so I can take stuff that I built to him and
Okay.
he'll do mods for me on it and help me through that. So I enjoy building the amp line, and the guitar line is called Rye Tone.
Oh, wonderful. Little plug there for you.
Oh,
All right,
hello there.
Jeff. Hello there. You're making me very, very angry.
Yeah,
we're just never gonna grow up, brother.
we got
No,
stories, brother.
we do, man. We do. I wish we had more time, Jeff. And it's always been a pleasure seeing you as a band and
Yeah,
as a personal friend of mine. I
yeah,
love you with all my heart, and I'll see you soon. Okay, my
yeah.
friend.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. God bless
Uh,
you all.
All righty, Jeff. Once again, Jeff Rye from Scarlet and Unfinished Business, y'all. Stay tuned. There's more to come with this guy. I just know it. Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, my friend. And next time you're in Detroit,
Buddy.
will you please come by my house again, and we'll maybe go out and have an
Oh,
iced
I
tea.
will, dude.
I miss you, and I love you with all
Yeah.
my heart, brother.